My name's Rick DeBonis. I've been dealing for 19 years. One night I was working as a craps dealer, and there was a commotion on one of the blackjack tables, and I knew something was going on. My casino manager came by and said that somebody had sat down with $200 and was winning $6,000. And he asked me to go over there and try to get the casino's money back. By the time I got done, I had him down to about $4,000 profit. And eventually they had to give me a break. I was in there for almost an hour and a half. And once they took me off the game, the floodgates opened and he wound up winning $8,500 that day with a $200 buy-in. I first broke in on a casino boat in New York, and we used to have players that literally did not want to leave the table, and they used to have the coins for the slot machines in a bucket, and I've had people actually relieve themselves in the bucket rather than get up and use the restroom. No, I don't actually think it's a difference between the people winning or losing, but I do think it's a difference between a supervisor or a casino manager keeping their job. In order for me to explain that a little further is, when the casino is losing, they're not happy. So the supervisor is going to be the first person to take blame. He's going to get blamed by the shift manager. And the shift manager is going to get blamed by the general manager. So all they can do is say, I've done everything I could to try to change the luck. I changed dealers. That's what you can do. I changed cards. I changed dice. They have to at least make an attempt to try to change the luck. A biggest payout that I have ever given, I do remember a guy winning about $8,500 on the craps table one night that I was working. I would say blackjack being the best game. Believe it or not, blackjack's known as a skill game. It's got a very small house advantage, a little over 1%, and it's a game that could be beaten. Well, is it legal? Absolutely. Is it permitted? If the casinos have a right to ask you to leave at any point in time, and if they feel that you are counting cards, more times than not, they will ask you to leave. Yes, I'm a big believer in luck. Everybody who plays is waiting for that lucky streak to come, not knowing exactly when it's going to come. Unfortunately, a lot of times they'll go broke before the luck turns. But yes, I've seen it more times than not where you just can't do anything wrong for a 20-minute period of time. Now, if everything goes your way in that 20-minute period of time, you can make some serious money. That's true to a sense. I have heard dealers who would actually practice that at home. They would buy a roulette wheel and they would try to keep the spin at the same speed and see if they can get the ball to land within a 8 to 10 number gap. However, again, if the casino bosses are doing their job, that'll never happen because by rule, a casino dealer is not supposed to be looking at the wheel when he spins the ball. So if he's not looking at the wheel when he spins the ball, he can't release it at a certain point. Therefore, he'd have no idea where the ball might land. And there's 36 combinations of the dice, and the number 7 is the most prevalent. It has 6 different ways that a 7 can be rolled. It can be rolled 4-3, 3-4, 5-2, 2-5, 6-1, or 1-6. So 7s will come out more than any other number, just on the strict mathematics of it all. But again, people are looking for that roll. I've stood at a craps table one time and somebody didn't roll a 7 for an hour. At that point in time, the casino's lost an awful lot of money. Well, keep in mind, there's over 100 different bets you can make on a craps table, and there's all different payouts depending on which bet you are making. However, most people who play craps in the casino choose to bet with the shooter, and that would mean betting on the pass line and betting that the shooter was going to hit his or her point. That having been said, the best bet in the casino by far are the odds on a pass line bet. They are what's known as true odds, and the only bet in the casino where the house has no advantage at all. The player is actually playing on a level playing field with the house. The bets in the middle are known as proposition bets, or as we call them, prop bets. They are the biggest payout bets on the table. However, they're also the hardest bets to hit. Your back's against the wall from the moment you step up to the table. There are 36 combinations of the dice, and on our biggest paying proposition bets, which are one-roll bets, say if you were betting on 2 to roll, okay, there's only one way to roll a number 2. That's with a 1 and a 1. And the chances of you hitting that are 1 out of 36, and if you do hit it, the casino pays you 30 to 1. So basically, you're getting paid 30 to 1 on a bet where the chances of hitting it are 1 out of 36. Well, I mean, for the amateur player that just wants to get their feet wet in craps, I recommend starting off with a pass line bet, waiting for a point to be established, and then making what's known as place bets on the 6 and 8. That gives you the best chances of hitting numbers that aren't a 7. You'd always like to have the 6 and 8 working for you if possible. Don't pass players are also known as what we call players who are betting wrong. They're betting against the shooter. They're known as wrong bettors. It's a grind. I do know people who play the don'ts almost on a daily basis, and anybody who does play it will tell you it's a grind. You have a bunch of people at the table that are waiting for that hot shooter to come around, that shooter that's going to do nothing but make passes and hit numbers. And then you have one don't player standing at the table, hoping that the table goes cold. If you believe in karma, when that table gets on a roll, the don't bettors can lose an awful lot of money. I don't believe you have an advantage. On the initial roll of the dice, you have to make your don't pass bet when there has not been a point established. Right there, on that moment, you will lose on a 7 or an 11. You would only win on a 2 or a 3, and as everybody knows, 7 comes up more than any other number. So in order to bet don't pass, you have to survive that first roll where the odds are against you. The dealers are happy with people that tip. And it's been my experience, the people who play don't pass do not tip. They are what's known as grinders. They'll stand at the table, they show very little emotion. They're basically the enemy to almost everybody else that's on the table. And they like to basically remain anonymous. They stand in a corner and they try to grind out a little bit of money every hour, and at the end of the day, hopefully, they've made what they consider to be a day's pay. And most dealers do not like don't pass bettors because they're not known to tip.